as well. The only major change up here is Retro going over towards the Brimstone, which is a little bit new, and CP2 moving over towards the Sage. Typically, I think you would still really expect an Omen to come out on this map, but Strong Legs still playing a Sky. I think the only time Strong Legs hasn't played Sky for this team is one game against MV on Split. But aside from that, Strong Legs has just pushed the Sky through every single map.
Yeah, and it almost feels like it's one of those things that they're not even forcing it, right? I mean, they have legitimately used this agent and said, what can we do? How can we maybe exploit the fact that he else is playing Sky and find an advantage with it? And apparently the call has been, let's no longer play double duelists, and let's just play a little bit slower, a bit more controlled, as we get a 1-for-1 exchange overall. So we got a 4v4 to start things off, and Renegade's looking to execute over towards A pretty quickly. Temperature is in line defensively, but he actually gets tagged down to 34 HP. Brilliant shock dart. Claudia will make use of some of the damage to find an elimination, and now Renegades are stuck a little bit in a weird spot. 3v4, Randy Savage tagged low. They'll shut the door on the rotation from Tree and try to get the spike planted.
There's a 3v4, but two members from EG are still far away. They've only just regrouped over towards A now in terms of the tree location. Heal has come on through in terms of regrowth as well from RNG. The only person that doesn't get healed is Strong Legs himself. And now the opening kill to Potter for the retake, and could be a few more in this 2v3. Low HP for the EG side of things, but they will clean up. They will secure the pistol.
Nice.
They're going to get in their first round, which is, I think, wiping a bit of sweat off the brow here because, you know, we've not seen good pistols so far in Haven. Different story to start things out with for our opening round of this map.
And look, defensively, I'm looking at Evil Geniuses to have an incredible half here, just to require them not only to kind of bounce back after what was a very bad loss on Haven, but it's also been their strongest half when they've played this map over the course of their journey in the last month since they've been a roster. But it's just one of those things that if you were to take a look and to see what they've brought to the table overall as far as compositions are concerned, who's playing what, it really does still feel like this Evil Genius roster is trying to figure themselves out. What is their identity? Who wants to play what? What is the best compositions for not only our roster, but also on what maps we're trying to play? And so hopefully they can find some success here, because boy, do they absolutely need it. It's good to get that pistol on board early.
So no major aggression coming through from RNG early. I know that Winsome just kind of face checked over towards A, and similar things will be happening now over towards, or rather towards B, and now similar things will be happening over towards A. Early losses from RNG. I mean, these are going to be long-ish kind of range duels coming through. Bulldogs are obviously going to have a major advantage here. I believe only Randy Savage came through from a Sheriff, and we know he did some real damage on Haven, but Randy's down early now, so that's probably one of the better guns that RNG actually brought into this as far as upgraded pistols go that are gone now, as Spike is going to be recovered nice and quickly from their position they left behind over to B. Walking into Tree, Alexander should collect.
We'll see in how many. Claudia's also holding a Paranoia just in case this push does come through. Here comes the peak. Blinding will be Renegades moving in. Paranoia will stall them for a moment. Also the Leer involved. Alexander makes use of it. Dismisses, moves forward, sees the shoulder, finds a second, wants to go to the pistol, pushing up aggressively, but Osias will beat him to the punch. And that'll be Evil Geniuses winning the expected second round, but doing it flawlessly and not giving away a spike plant is good news.
And in case anyone didn't realize by now, I mean, we're about a map deep plus a couple of rounds, but you did see as well, Alexander, with only the 2 orbs to work with in terms of Dismiss and Devour. We are on the live patch, and so using both to pretty successful affair there in terms of the actual value there. Tried to use the first one to get a little bit more info, didn't want to over push it, but overall EG clean up the way they should be doing. So a successful anti-eco, minimal losses there. In fact, I don't think anyone died. I can't remember if anyone died. I don't think they did.
No.
They get to maintain all their extra buy-ups from the first round now, moving into a very important round 3. Now, we have seen RNG win this before. But that was when they were ahead. Let's see them win with the actual rifles in hand. And EG, they're going to need to do something a little bit more creative with these small buys. You do see push-ups coming through on B.
Alarm bot will be triggered. Potter is watching this. CP2 looking for an aggressive peek. Will find one. A little bit of wall bang. They're actually pretty blessed to get that shot because taken down to very low HP. But now you've got an opportunity for Renegades to start making their way forward. Osias will hold things up. Finding the first opportunity, long range for the second. Beautiful shots, knows that they have to respond to players from behind. Strong Legs doesn't get the angle. And now we've got ourselves a 3v3. Seekers are available for potentially stalling this post-plant hit. Beautiful long-range shots from Temperature. Okay, Evil Geniuses 3v2. What can you do to take this? There's the Seekers to try to get some information. And Strong Legs makes good in the first bit, as now we go to a 2v2 situation.
And we're just going to push together as well for RNG, going over towards the mid. Spawn has been located. That should be a kill straight away. Claudia swings for it, but it's not going to be able to respond. Now Osias on his lone sim, responsible for 2 kills so far this round. Only 1 smoke. We'll probably get this one halfway before he's challenged. No, doesn't even get the half defuse. 1 kill onto Retro, 10 HP. I think Stronglegs probably has this one. We'll go for a swing, an easy pickup. No HP available really for Size to really make much more happen. A powerful round from EG,
yes.
Despite Renegades winning this one. Yeah, they get the rifle, the 1 rifle. That's all they get. They get the, the successful plant, but losing 4 members this year. CP2 is actually very patient. I thought he was going to pull the trigger straight away on the first person he sees, but he allows Osiris to walk back, then he gets the kill. And then Osiris goes pretty big this round overall, considering, how things are and what the gun availability was. Claudia tried to buy a little bit more time as well. I would say that's a pretty successful round 3 for EG despite losing.
Now look at the weapons. Just very briefly, you had it on screen. You've got a situation where neither team is fully invested, but there is an operator on the table. Trailblazer coming out. Potter's going to have to deal with this, and she will. Osias trying to help. Avoids the guiding light, but no! Still affected by the flash. Wanted to go for the peak, but could not find an angle to pull the trigger. And Renegades have taken one of the big power weapons off the field early for a 5v3.
And that's probably the round right there. EG, I'm not expecting them to be able to really get a good retake in here. There's a real possibility that if Osias wasn't still blinded as he goes for the swing, could have been a lineup for a double tap there for a collateral for 2 kills. That would have been insane. That would have definitely have given EG a high chance of winning this round, even if, Osias going down there. Potter was in position to maybe swing for a trade. Unfortunately, they get nothing done there via the flashes, so ends up being a 5v3, and you can look at EG's situation now. They know they don't have money. Technically speaking, RNG also don't have money, so whoever dies here between either team is going to be pretty disastrous, but EG playing it safe, not going to take a risk here. Possible for Alexander to maybe get 1 here. Yeah, there it is. Oh my god, 2's actually pretty good.
2 is incredible. I mean, for EG, again, well, for both teams, this was a bit of a weird bias situation for both squads, considering the money, like you had mentioned, coming off of it. EG losing the 3rd round, but still making it a punishing one. A lot of members could still purchase. So the fact that you were able to get 2 eliminations, just tapping at that range, incredible stuff for Alexander. Exactly. Really waking up here, and that's just a really unfortunate wide peak. I think that the status effect for the guiding light, you thought that you maybe got rid of most of it, but as the operator peak came out, still very much so flashed, and Renegades will, of course, still win the round, but Evil Geniuses are making things definitely interesting here early.
You can start to see the, specifically looking at Osias and Alexander now as well. I mean, they've more than doubled up on what they got on Haven over, 14 rounds here. In about 4 rounds, they've managed to get a significant number of more kills. Especially Alexander, who's currently sitting at 7-2, Empress ready as well. If you do want to pop the Empress here, it would be good to have one of the rifles, so either Claudio or Temperature could look to swap their gun with Alexander's Guardian if they don't want to get into this Empress. Bladestorm has been popped by Osias as well, so this is another worse situation for EG. They have just enough buys to cover some rifles. Spectre on Potter as well. Obviously, a lot of weapons on the side of RNG, including the Operator dropped over a little bit earlier in the hands now of CP2.
And I think largely for Evil Geniuses, you would love to see both of your duelists come out as hot as Temperature has so far. So maybe a possibility for Osiris to build some confidence if he can find some eliminations with this Bladestorm this round. But for Renegades, it's going to be 4 players hitting over towards A long. Temperature is going to be able to pop open this Aldrum, but doesn't see Winsome. Who's going to find one? Because he get the second? No. Osiris puts him down. And the lockdown will still be here. It forces Alexander into a corner, of which he is getting wall banged through. And Renegades have successfully taken the A site.
Now there's only 3 remaining for EG, and should be just enough equipment to play with as well. I do believe this is 3 members that have weaponry acquired. We'll see how they go with this one. Still lots of members alive for RNG with far better equipment. CP2 playing very long range over towards A main. Temperature does open up on his Randy Savage, though. That's pretty big. Looking at the Seekers coming through from Stronglegs, possibly will need to be used. I haven't seen the tap come through from CP2 yet. Actually missed the shot, but does collect at the end. So it's now a 2v1. Osiris with a rifle. Bladestorm still available with 4 knives, in fact, and a couple more smokes.
Yeah. Plenty of opportunity. We'll get this to halfway. Backs away. Second Cloudburst goes down. Long-range shots. Operator misses. A couple Bladestorms do connect, but has to put the knives away and trust the rifle. 70 HP. Time started to tick away, and CP2 gets a 3rd opportunity. And, well, he will not miss 3 different times. No strikeout here. Renegades put themselves up 3-2. And now the question turns over to Evil Geniuses. What is going to be the buy situation for you? It looks like largely we'll get pistol upgrades, but we'll take a look at these plays early on. And that required trade from Osiris keeps Evil Geniuses alive in the round.
I think there was even a possibility for Winsome to maybe even get a double there. The spray transfer was a little bit more accurate. So the unfortunate attempts from Alexander weren't quite there. He got dinked by Retro, so, you know, just ruining the sort of aim there for the possibility of the Guardian maybe collecting a kill. So a little bit unfortunate for Alexander not to get that trade as well. Now as we move into round number 6, still pretty even across the board. Ultimates for both ends as well. Buy situation for EG is pretty poor. 2 Buckies and 3 Sheriffs, but maybe they can make that work with a few accurate pass.
One of those Buckies is in a corner here. Brilliant free cam coming through. Win some, not good. Potter finds one. Trailblazer coming out. Will affect, but help is on the way. Temperature is here to make sure nobody pushes through. They're also able to collect the weapon, but Retro punishes only for one, though. Beautiful pickup for Evil Geniuses. Alexander with the overheal. Temperature with the peak. And we've got a 4v2 potential. I don't know if this will be a full Thrifty, but let's call it what it is. It's likely going to be feeling like a Thrifty if you're a Renegade fan if they lose this one.
I mean, definitely, it's, you know, 800 Sheriff, 900 Buckies. That's very cheap items coming onto the list here. Alexander now with the Vandal in play, swings on CP2, full confidence, and that is the Alexander that you want to see. This is the Alexander that showed up on Moon Raccoons a moon ago, many moons ago, I think, at this stage, when, you know, he was still in the team with some really good fraggers. Fiend comes to mind as well. Potter with the opening pick does get traded, but this is what gets the story started. I mean, that kill that Potter gets is what puts the rifle in Alexander's hands, and Alexander doesn't pop off this round without a good gun like that.
My goodness, this has been what I think a lot of people would have expected from this matchup to start. Evil Geniuses really getting a lot of participation. I mean, you go from what we said, 6 and 28 through an entire map for Osiris and Alexander. Now they're at like 17 kills combined through 6 rounds. I mean, come on. So it's going to be, yeah, it absolutely is. A lot of ultimates on the table here. I'm just kind of curious to see how Renegades want to use some of these tools.
I think Seekers to open up with would be really good. Ideally, we save this orbital strike for a post plant. So there it is. Seekers coming through from strong legs. You have the flank position from Randy as well. Straight onto site. It's pretty clear. Doesn't seem like there's anything hell. Yeah, Seekers will confirm nothing is hell as well. So pretty clean so far. A couple of pops on the other side. Claudia gets a kill, and now EG are cleaning up.
That was a brilliant Hunter's Fury. Temperature lined up 3, trying to make their way through the A archway. Eventually does find an elimination on the 3rd attempt, but the help and the damage made life so much easier for Evil Geniuses. Not sure what happened right there for Temperature's recon bolt, but be all right. It's a 5v2 situation. The Empress will surely fade away here soon, but I don't know if there's going to be too much of a difference because the numbers are just so strong. Well, for Renegades with 35 seconds, they may need to consider just saving here, to be honest.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of money. A res would actually be okay here. So a res for the economy would actually be pretty strong.
Yeah, agreed.
That would invite a little bit more pressure from EG, and they don't know where EG is. So possibly the safest thing to do would just be to walk away, try and hold on to these guns, don't make any noise, don't allow EG to sort of understand what your game plan is. Unlikely to be pushing to Osiris' sight lines here as well, so be saving the res for another day. It will mean, I believe, they'll only have, I think, 2 guns to play
rifles.
with. If they had a res, then that would be 3 guns with the possibility to, if they pull enough money together after that. I don't know, but they could maybe get 3 rifles, 2 SMG would still be a pretty decent going. But it's a rough round for Renegades and a well-placed defense for Evil Geniuses, who don't even allow Renegades to plant, like you said. Temperature coming through with a massive Hunter's Fury. Alexander wasting no time on the Empress. And everybody from EG responding correctly for Renegades. Losing 3, no post-plant. And using Seekers as well. Finding decent value, but not going to give them the round.
Yeah, and I guess the only bit of good news there for Renegades is the fact that you are able to bring some rifles into this next round, and you still have kill potential off of things like the Showstopper, the Orbital Strike. You could bring one of the 2 players back alive again with the Resurrection. This is still a very plausible round 8 that you feel like you can be competitive if you're Renegade. So for me, it just comes down to, are you going to use these items, and when will you try to use these abilities, or do you just largely trust that the ARs will be what gets you through this round?
Have a couple of light buys there, so Osiris for the first pick. There it is, win some down nice and easy. This time not flash through. Osiris will make his presence known of the operator. A couple spray downs coming through from Potter as well, coming through from Link. And this is already looking pretty rough for RNG. They do manage to get their way onto site successfully, but here comes Alexander on the peak, and that's going to be the cleanup. There's no way that Retro can get too much more done. Well, CP2 rather can get too much done over here. Down he goes. 5-0 in terms of looking at where the kills were, and 5-3 for the actual scoreline in terms of rounds.
Look, it was hard to say for sure, but Winsome, you saw after he was first blooded, he put a blast pack down in that B entrance, thinking that maybe they were trying to get the Sky Smoke execute and then allow him to move forward. Maybe a blast pack play. Could have also included a Showstopper, maybe have just been to Bucky. Kind of hard to say for sure, but that entire that break attempt for Renegades is shut down. I think the timing with the Brimstone Sky Smoke was just not fully executed correctly, and it allows just enough of an opportunity for the operator to find value when it does. So now 5-3. Talked about Evil Geniuses. Their defense was by far their stronger half, at least historically in the month that they've been a team, and we're seeing exactly why right here.
Look at the info being obtained by EG here as well. They have 3 going over towards A main, 2 in B long, about to check into lobby as well. They see that B is completely clean. They're about to see that A is pretty much clean, except for Randy over here. While this is all happening, RNG have full control in tree, and they're actually about to get onto site for free as well. Randy gets a double kill, wins some now for the flank, collects the third. So Claudia down, A completely free, and EG, after thinking about the response, now 2v5.
I can't imagine a world that EG would have thought that Randy would have found both of those kills. They triple stacked over towards A long, and no one even finds really even any damage onto him. So now, if you're Evil Geniuses, you're just happy. Well, not happy, but you're going to have to concede this round, essentially. After losing all of your defensive members, you're going to hold the operator and see maybe if Potter can find a point of contact here. We'll see the shoulder makes good on it to find a headshot on the CP2. So at least there is the flawless taken off the board. But my goodness, talk about the play from Randy Savage to walk away with 2 kills off the opening engagement.
This is completely different to what we saw for 2 rounds in a row as well. You know, we saw Flawless coming through from EG, followed by a very strong round where they got their own 5v2 win. I say 5v2, but this round's going to be a 4v2, just, you know, to get a little bit of extra collateral damage in terms of just picking up that final kill onto CP2, but money should be enough for all buys coming through from both teams here, as it's still very close. Take a look at the 2 kills from Randy Savage. Again, just swings through, isolates each kill individually. Winsome already had control in tree. They knew where the rest of EG were as far as A was concerned. A lot of members over towards A main, and nobody into tree. And the fact that Randy wins that is pretty disgusting, and what will give them the round ultimately.
Goodness gracious. Back and forth, back and forth. Couple of sprees of 3 rounds in a row, but now we get back to a rifle round in which a lot of ultimates to be played with for both sides. Trailblazer looking for information right through B. Not going to see too much of anything as both defensive players are actually playing passively. Osias sees the shoulder, doesn't hit the trigger. Oh, headshot into the mix. Randy was trying to essentially toy with him, and that entire play for the lockdown wasn't necessarily for the execute. Alexander trying to sneak forward over by tree. Will be figured out. Claudia, damaged by the boombot, but has health from temperature. Brilliant health from temperature, in fact, and the wide swing from Claudia finds herself the elimination and gets away from CP2, who is the last player left, affected by the paranoia, a couple spam shots, but this is a very difficult 1v3, at least for now. Resurrection is available, but you need to find an elimination here before you go for this, or the wall would go into a res. It does get fortified, so bringing back to life will be Strong Legs. It gets broken. Reload will be there. Osias finds one. Strong Legs cannot get out. And that's a very expensive round for Renegades, my goodness.
It's a good attempt. I actually saw a situation there where potentially CP2 finds the 1v1 versus Potter. Did actually check over towards Glass, but didn't commit to the angle, so Potter was able to get into Glass, did take a couple of shots from Potter as well to try and land onto CP2, and CP2 playing in the smoke. Think about the situation. How could I possibly win this round? Wall into Rez, into Spike, and then possibly go for the 2v2 over into Catwalk, but yeah, the aim couldn't be found. Osias swings confidently. Osias, how good has these shots been so far in terms of the operator usage? We see the early headshot coming through from B main as well. And EG trying to get a bit of a lead going. Alexander in position.
Well, taken out of position very quickly as Winsome finds the kill. Seekers will come out. Spam shots coming out. Osias has to spend an operator shot to deal with the pressure of the Seekers, but temperature, secondary peak, good for another elimination. 4v4 we go. Osias just a bit wide. Now turning his attention right back over to the start cover, and oh man, so much information one way or the other here. CP2, I would say, fortunate to not have pushed through there because he would have likely been taken down. Regrowth is going to come into play to try to heal some players up. And a little bit of sharing of the healing going on right now for Renegades, as also the healing orb was spent to make sure that Strong Legs could get back to near full HP.
Really a big healer comp if you think about it at that stage.
Really
you know, Sky, Sage together is not something I see too often. Maybe it's something that you potentially would even run on a map like Split, using the Trailblazer now just to shake over to side. They don't see Potter though. I'm not too sure that Potter was spotted. You have to remember, Trailblazer is technically nearsighted, so you can't see anybody unless you're quite close to them with that Trailblazer. It's not quite as good as an Aldrone. Osias gets confident, tries to peek over towards mid. Didn't expect there to be 2 people. That's going to give a little bit of priority over to RNG now. 4 versus 3, confidently going over towards A. 2 defenders, they're waiting for them. And the lockdown, pretty far away. The lockdown they'll need to save for the post plant.
Randy's going to find one, immediately traded, but Temperature is caught down low. Needs to have a special moment, but will not find the second elimination. So now it is just down to Potter. You feel like with this 1v3, there should be an opportunity for her to go for this, but the barrier orb will make life pretty difficult. We'll still potentially try to peek, seeing, can I sneak through this? Yeah, you can, but CP2 is waiting for you. So another round coming in favor of Renegades. We go into the last one of the half with a 5-6 tally. Very tight back and forth, but I think the question lingering in my mind, again, we talked about Evil Geniuses having a better statistical defensive half. Have they done enough? You feel like you need to exit this one 7-5 to kind of at least make me feeling a little more confident about that.
I think it really comes down to how good does EG feel about the next half in terms of their attack. I can say for that particular round, though, it started out pretty well. But it comes down to well-placed patience by RNG specifically. You saw they just slowed down the round. They stopped pushing angles. They took some control of mid, waited for somebody like Osiris to over-push, collect that kill, force numbers in their favor. The other clean required is a large number of youth going to be spent early by RNG just to clean out a few angles. Trailblazer going over towards mid as well, so they know no one's pushed up too far. They are preparing for the eventual of a push-up on B, though, and there's CP2.
Osiris, oh no, wanted to try to avoid the blind and the guiding light. CP2 secondary just kind of throwing shots through the cloud burst. Good for one. Alexander will play for the trade and he'll be awarded it. Temperature is going to read that there are a number of players over towards this catwalk. Another guiding light will push them back just a touch. Sky Smoke to try to come through. Brilliant shock dart though, finds a hefty amount of damage, and the recon bolt will confirm information that there are players nearby. But even still, with all that said, Renegades will get onto the A side and play for a plant.
Bit of extra healing coming through onto Retro as well. Plant does come in. Again, Orbital Strike is there. That's why you see Retro playing so far away. Just got to keep him alive. Empress being popped in. Lockdown as well. Do you actually spend the... Yeah, you do spend the Orbital Strike on the lockdown immediately. That means you don't have to leave the site.
And Savage will actually take down 2. So it comes down to Potter and Claudia. 2v3 situation. Winsome down low is not going to initially see the cross from Potter. Randy Savage on the outside. Good response for the first kill. Long range, not going to find Randy. That'll be his third elimination. Down to Claudia, 1v2. Would love to see this get the 7th round, but it's just shoulder throwing back and forth. Gets a headshot, but unfortunately runs out of ammunition. Randy with their 4th kill ties up the half, and we go into the switch at a 6-6 tie.
Ends up being a pretty decent half return for RNG when they struggled. I mean, we came into this one with a bit of early lead from EG. It goes the other way when you see the 3 coming through from RNG as well. A number of more successful rounds coming through from Evil Geniuses. I would say, you know, obviously the 6-6 half would tell you it was an extremely close half overall. But we bring the conversation back to how confident do we feel about the Evil Geniuses attack. I mean, if you look over to Haven, 1 round on that attack. You look over towards this map, you know, against the team like Project a little bit earlier in today's games for Challenges Open qualifiers. I mean, what was their scoreline there on their attack? They got 3. So they got 3-9 on their attack, which is not great. They need to do much better than that versus possibly, I think, you know, definitely, I think, a better team. Yeah,
I mean, 36% win rate on the attack. Granted, over only the course of 4 different playthroughs, so not exactly the greatest sample size in the world for Evil Geniuses, but still, it would lend you to believe that their offensive attacks have not necessarily been as clean as you'd like, but clean is the first headshot from Osiris. Good for a first blood. That'll force the barrier orb to stall this hit. Aldrone is still out. There's also a Lear in the mix, so they're going to try to push through this. Temperature's going to get a tag off. Stronglight's trying to hold, and the Sky Smoke will stall things just a bit longer.
Strongleg is potentially an issue, potentially would have been dead there as well. They knew where Stronglegs was. A lot of RNG did start to show up. Now, we've said that RNG on the retakes have been pretty powerful. They have noted that EG are probably left side by now. The rest of RNG is starting to rotate out of A. A couple still holding there, checking over towards mid as well, just in case they've lost anyone. You see that Temperature is still lurking Ace. Once the wall does come off, Temperature might be able to strike. I don't think the guiding light spotted Temperature in terms of giving away information. No, it hasn't. So Temperature might be up for a bit of a sneaky play, but no one's coming within his line of sight as Potter's trying to clear out B main. Oh, they're coming back, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes, they are. Evil Geniuses are full wrapping backwards. They're going to leave one. That's Potter, who's just trying to make a bit of noise. The Sentry Turret is also placed. Now the Nanostorm. This is so much distraction and Temperature. Lurks on in, finds Retro, and now Renegades have to scramble to come around. But you mentioned CP2 on the flank. Can the rest of Renegades try to hold off for long enough to let this play from the back happen? The answer will be no. It's a 1v5 situation. CP2 for one. Long range finds a second. Hold on. Healing Orb is going to be here, but has to wait for the full heal to get into play. Has made it down to a 1v3. Of course, everybody from EG knows exactly where CP2 is positioned. Has to deal with a sentry turret because it will hurt. Little shoulder peeks. That will be the end of it. Beautiful little double wrap back for Evil Geniuses to win the pistol.
And dealing with the threats there as well. I mean, that could have been deadly. If CP2 had one more ally to work with, that they had a little bit of tree control from a second person alive there. If it was a 2v2, I think CP2 would be in a great spot. Early kill coming through from Sias. What a beautiful headshot on that Ghost as well. Temperature finding the timing onto Retro, allowing the rest of the members of EG just to stream on in, get this opening plant, and another successful pistol as well. I think that's been one of the good changes on this map compared to what we saw in Haven, was that now that we have two pistols, one back-to-back on this map, they'll have a back-to-back anti-eco as well, which is going to give them possibility of having an 8 and 6 start.
Marshall play is coming out, actually 2 of them for Renegades, but it's still Alexander who still finds first blood at a pretty significant range, and down low, the burst is good. CP2 was able to take at least one trade back kill, but was it worth it? I don't think many would say yes, as Evil Geniuses find themselves in a 4v3.
I do want everyone to know that Renegades have forced this run. Obviously, the Marshals would tell you that one, but they have a Bucky, Spectre, as well as the Sheriff coming through from Randy Savage. As we've seen, Randy hits a nice couple of taps on that weapon. Marshall has so far delivered 1 kill.
I have the spike.
Doesn't look like it's going to get too much more done for now. The second Sheriff was on Retro. So actually, no, both Sheriffs are down for the count for the time being. Of Temperature, though, potentially up for an early frag on the Bucky. Here we go.
There it is. Right click finds the kill. Get that Lear out of here, says Winsome. Let's just take this the old-fashioned way. Strong legs will find a bit of damage. Now back over. Winsome finds another long-range shot, but Alexander overhealed. Boombot down. Wanting to see if there's going to be a challenge. It will not occur. Just the door being shut. Now to the pistol. Plenty of time for a reload, but wants to instead swap over to the Spectre that he's picked up off the ground. Moving very quickly as Alexander. Still a very plausible 1v2. Randy Savage. Look what he's holding just underneath these boxes. Alexander sees a shoulder, finds the kill. Last one down low for the ace. 1v1, 38 HP. Comes down to the timing of this. 9 seconds to go, and as he swaps over, Winsome will get 4 with the Bucky and save the round for Renegades.
Go shopping on the floor as well. What's left behind on the bodies? Yeah, I'll take a Sheriff. I'll take the free Bulldog. And I believe the second to third kill there, that was actually a collateral. So take a look at this first one. Right-click, no issues. And here we go. This collab. Bam! 2 players lined up, including the Spike. Potter and Temperature fall in one shot. Disgusting right-click from Winsome. And that is a $900 gun that gets you so much value. Wins the final 1v1 as well. Winsome, yeah, he got some for sure.
Look, I'll be candid. I didn't want to call the collateral because they were stacked so much on top of each other. I wasn't 100% positive it was 2 players, so I'm really glad that we got that slow motion replay. Second guess myself just a touch. How about Osiah? Shorty play tailwinds away, finds the first blood. That'll be good news now for Evil Geniuses as they go into what is largely a thrifty round with only a couple of Spectres to play with.
I think Sias' stats will look much better here as well, specifically on early frags. I mean, here they operate on the defense. Here he gets an opening pistol where he gets the ghost shot to start things out with. On this round here as well, early shorty kill. So Sias, at least in terms of first bloods, has found a decent number of those, giving EG the 5v4 required. CPU2 now will be tested. No flash straight into the smoke. Where was the flash into the smoke? Osias drops the spike.
Well, everything's
flash him and dash.
Yeah, everything's going to come to a small pause here. Renegades with a very advantageous position, and Evil Geniuses, how do you get this spike back? You essentially have to commit forward through this archway. That's the only play available to them at the moment. There's not a lot of time for them to wrap back over through middle, so this is going to be...
They don't have tree.
Yeah, this very well could just be a blunder here, walking right into danger.
They don't have tree control. They have no one walking up glass. They have no challenge into any other part of the map. At this point, you can't fake your way over towards B. Osias has given over a very important objective here, and they're just going to walk into smoke. Hope for the best, and here comes the spray down.
Yeah, there it is. Someone turned the blender on, and it turned up in favor of Renegades. Little Evil Geniuses smoothie right there.
just dash into the smoke. I mean, that's the strat. That's what every single Jet player does. Put a smoke down deep, put it onto generator, dash into the generator, start planting. This is how you play. This is what you're meant to do. Or, you know, don't take the spike. That's another option. Dashing it and dying is one thing, or I guess not dashing in this case for a size, but going in and dying is one thing. Dying with the spike deep onto site when none of your other members can really get into there. You don't really have good enough util either. You don't have the guns. that is a brutal way for EG to lose a round and actually resets economy towards potentially giving RNG a bit more to play with here. And it's a brutal round, I think, for EG to give away.
Well, we talked about their offense, not exactly the greatest. This would have to be a special performance just off that statistic alone. But rounds like that, as you mentioned, you're really hoping as an EG fan that they were able to kind of capitalize on. But regardless, we go into 8-7. A lot of ultimates to play with here for Evil Geniuses, playing very patiently for now. Spike on the ground just outside of this back area by A long. And a little bit of tagging is happening currently over the middle of the map. Just nothing that finds a consequence of a full elimination. And keep an eye on Renegades. They're looking to maybe play aggressive here through the middle of the map for maybe a first blood. Winsome tries to peek. He sees a player at range. Now the flash will come through for the peek to occur, but Osias punishes. They'll find one. CP2 second peek, not going to be good. It's only a 2-for-1 exchange, but Randy Savage with the Sheriff keeps things level. 3v3 we go with 40 to play.
Razors in play as well. RNG can go for that one for sure. They have a lot of control so far on the map. We'll see if Alexander does the damage. There is heal up as well. But even decide to dismiss away if there's a little bit more pressure. I mean, the pressure's certainly there. Alexander will use the dismiss just to check locations. This is the 1v1 that he will for sure want to tank, but how many times does he want to swing? Classic versus Sheriff. Doesn't even want the gun upgrade, and Alexander showing up big time for this particular round as RNG. They had a res available. If the res came through, that could have been pretty winnable for Renegades.
Wow. Great stuff from Alexander. He's been the savior. 22 in 10 through 16 rounds of gameplay. And I think, you know, we didn't necessarily say it, but I think both of us wanted to see better performance from the duelists. Boy, have we gotten it.
Oh, no, we've said it plenty of times. I think we said we straight out just dragged them through the mud in terms of, did you know they only got 6 kills between the two of them in 14 rounds?
Yeah,
no, we definitely said it.
Well, they've responded beautifully so far. Bladestorm going to be used here just to get things going. Retro going to use an early Sky Smoke just to block off B main. That'll allow an opportunity for Temperature to grab an ultimate orb for Hunter's Fury. So a lot of tools to play with for both sides here.
Speaking of that 22 for Alexander before, a little bit more fun fact for you. Temperature and Claudia together only got 11 each, accounting for 22 overall in that first map as well. So now Temperature Alexander by himself has pretty much exceeded that combined. And EG 8 and 8 here. I mean, they have recovered the last round after, again, what I call a major blunder on that third round. So got a bit of time to work with. Just a little bit of early trade on the util. It's coming down to CP2 solo defending, anchoring over on A with an operator. We've seen him hit shots before. We need to hit a shot and rapidly walk away. It's not a jet, so it's not going to be able to dash. Empress pop. So here we go. That's the information.
CP2. First blood. It's onto the Bladestorm. Hunter's Fury going to be used for Temperature, trying to clear space up top. Will at least push members back, but not find really any damage nor kills. Alexander still with the Empress, looking to zone off the undercarriage here in Hell. No one to be found, though. CP2 just waiting for someone to make a jump up happen. Don't imagine that Evil Geniuses will give him an opportunity in this 4v5. And Renegades on the retake. See that zoom into the mini-map? This is the position. 2 players at least right now for tree. 2 up top, and then the one lurking currently is Strong Legs. Which direction do you want to go? Going to be the showstopper through first. Alexander up close. Winsome. Is he going to find anybody? Point blank shot will take himself down with it, but it doesn't make a difference because Renegades have worked their way on. Last player left is now Temperature. It would be a 1v3. Shockdart comes through. It does find a bit of damage, but unfortunately the spam from Renegades are good enough to find the kill, and they will break this tie and go up 9-8.
Yeah, multiple members of Renegades alive there as well to spray through the smoke. Opening pick coming through from CP2. Ends up not even having to use the Resurrection. Would have brought numbers back into favor even harder for them. Not that they needed it. They still had 3 alive towards the end there. Well, the 2 survived. They had 3 up versus the 1. Now Renegades up by 1 overall. Guns still available for EG this round. And so far what we're seeing is, I was going to bring this up maybe a little bit earlier. This would have been more relevant in the first half especially, but because Renegades don't have a jet, they don't have those rounds where they are forced to kind of eco a little bit, and a jet would be really good. They're playing Winsome, for example, on a Raze with a Bucky this time. Now look, Winsome did incredible things with the Bucky previously, but if you had a jet here, this could be Bladestorm.
All right, Evil Geniuses. Big round coming forward for you here. Nice little picture-in-picture showing the ultimate order preference that EG's been trying to establish throughout this entire offense. How about Strong Legs up front? We'll see one that's mutual information, though. Strong Legs has to try to back away. There's not a lot of help here. The wide swing comes through, but Strong Legs finds one good paranoia. That's not just elimination. It very well could be a rifle. It just comes down to, was it close enough to be picked up safely? The CP2 is watching this. They bait out the operator shot, and I have to imagine that that weapon was picked up.
Stronglegs only had a Spectre, so there's not going to be an upgrade. Potter's the player with the least valuable equipment on the team for EG this round, and she only has a Spectre anyway, so there's not going to be a change in economy for either team based on that. It's a one-for-one trade, pretty even. Lockdown comes through. In fact, is that a counter lockdown? Is it two lockdowns?
Right on top of one another. The breakthrough trying to get there. Alexander will find one elimination, but has to back away. Again, the immediate response out of the lockdown. Nobody will be detained, but it stalls off the hit and gives Renegades at least a little bit of breathing room. Again, they do have the resurrection available. It should come through, you would imagine, and it will. So coming back to life here will be Winsome. But again, you hit it. That's going to be a very quick A rotation for EG, and this should be a free spike plant.
Renegades aren't here either. They were trying to group together for this resurrection, making sure it was going to be safe. 14 seconds remaining. They'll successfully do it. Temperature. Recon to check for rotations through. Smoke over towards tree as well, looking over towards glass. So here it is, spamming through the floorboards. The only thing that's really difficult for EG is that Alexander is low. No chance to heal just yet until he finds a kill. There will be contact made in tree for sure.
Well, the Bucky really cannot challenge this. Oh, that's terrible timing for Winsome. The dark cover fades away, but at least Retro was there for an initial trade. Evil Genius is still holding strongly, and that may be enough for Renegades to say, we need to save this operator. Try to save this rifle as well. Potter looking like she wants to go for this, but gets punished for it. You also have Temperature trying to play and Alexander, so that's a brilliant wipe of the floor there for Evil Geniuses. They find every last member, and now Renegades will be in a situation where they won't have the operator, and with that, they'll likely have to go into an eco.
That was super worth for EG as well, chasing down the extra members, making sure there's not going to be CP2 walking away with an operator as well. Huge gun in that defense. We've already seen the damage coming through from CP2 on it, and for EG, it might cost the members. Potter's going to die here. You are still going to have money. You won the round. You still have 2 rifles left over. Potter and Osiris will be maybe looking towards slightly worse guns. Osiris has still got a Guardian, which is acceptable in terms of at least sniping on a jet. But the damage is done to RNG here, who I think did a great job with the lockdown versus lockdown play. The defensive lockdown countering the offensive lockdown, which works in the favor of RNG, but the rest of the round, you have to give it over to EG. Now, Claudia, let's see if she gets out alive here. Might have to spin a smoke. They do have a lot of backup, so I don't think RNG are going to challenge for too long.
Yeah, Renegade's just looking for an initial pick off this Sheriff stack that they kind of have in the mix right now. Everyone is running one currently, I think, with the exception of CP2. Potter, lots of information, lots of damage, no kills. Randy Savage good for 1, but it will immediately be traded. Now Potter up for 1. And the spike will also be collected. I don't know if that was intentional, but does it make a difference? Might as well grab it and make a play. You're in a 4v3 after all.
They're looking towards maybe a split B approach here. Trying to clear out into market right now. No, they're going back towards A, aren't they? So it's going to be a lurk from Claudia. They're going to rely on the lurk from Claudia to potentially find a rotator. Possibly it'll be Retro coming through mid-market. In fact, there's 3 players right next to Claudia. This is so dangerous. Claudia's going to go for 1-for-1 for sure. Might even get a second.
Just good for 1-for-1 at the moment. That'll be a weapon picked up. So 2v3. Renegades do have an orbital strike to play with, and they are guessing correctly that this will be an A hit. Evil Geniuses have walked on.
30 seconds left.
And they will try to plant. Any response from the orbital strike? Not yet.
1 enemy remaining.
Spike planted successfully, and Osiris, brilliant help. Winsome able to find the kill. Alexander finds the final. And Evil Geniuses, this is looking much better overall, not just because of their first half, but again, we go after the offensive statistics, 36%. You wouldn't know it by looking at these first 7 rounds.
And forcing RNG into, ecos here as well, what I've already said, they don't run a jet, which means no Blaze Song, which means the eco is going to be a little bit more difficult to win. Yes, we've seen them do well with these sheriffs in the past, and I mean, again, you see Randy Savage, you see, Winsome, you see these guys kind of just get that flick on. So Claudia only goes for a 1-for-1. It could have been more dangerous. EG have the numbers, they have the guns, but this is the real round that you need to look out for because both teams have guns now. RNG can easily catch up here. They still have good ultimates to play with. EG are lacking those ultimates now. So we'll see if they can maybe do something tricky with this from the shadows. Typically from the shadows gets played towards B, so they need to be grouping harder for B if they want to actually do that.
Very early barrier orb here. Will just be deleted. No consequence for that, so Evil Geniuses can at least milk out 1 bit of ability out of the Sage of CP2, but that will not essentially lend consideration that they are going to attack towards A as Claudia will wrap the spike over, and they're going to look for some information potentially at B.
I'm actually not a huge fan of early walls like that because the
Yeah.
problem is if the wall gets broken, the possibility of an A hit is still possible. It's open now. Usually what happens is you put the wall down, and if no one breaks the wall's just going to lock that position up for a long time. You don't need to think about it too much. They're going to really now double down on trying to fake over towards B. 3 members are still there for RNG. They're going to be late to the party as the rest of EG storm over towards B.
Oh, but Winsome, he reads the play in the back from the shadows. Weird to say, from the shadows. Winsome still is he able to find more? Not going to be the case. Seekers are now in the mix. Renegades on the retake attack. Spike will be collected. Strong legs, good for one for free. Randy Savage another. They know where the last player is. It's Alexander and, oh man, Evil Geniuses. You thought for a second the lockdown bait was going to be enough. It forced the orbital strikeout, but Winsome reads the from the shadows play brilliantly, and we got ourselves a 10-10 tie.
And I'm not too sure. Did Claudia... No, this is a situation where Claudia thought it was completely clear. Winsome was actually waiting for the completion of the channel for the ultimate. Swings immediately on Claudia while the rest of the From the Shadows channel was still there in terms of bringing your gun out. So there's a very tiny window of opportunity where Winsome can swing for free, where Claudia cannot shoot back, and he finds that opportunity perfectly in that split second, that 1 second, half a second even. I'm not sure what it is, but it's just enough time. You even had CP2, by the way. I think it was CP2 or Retro that ended up killing Potter, who was lurking over towards A. So another free kill from them on their retake. We've talked about how strong these retakes are. That brings RNG back to 10 and 10. Even Stevens on both ends.
Clear. Aldrone, Bladestorm. Evil Geniuses. Are they trying to get aggressive here? There's the Cloudburst. Empress also the mix. This is going to be very quick, and Renegades respond to this pressure. Osiris has already cleared out so much space. Strong legs can't make a play. And now it's just down to Renegades. Do they try to wait out the Empress before they go back in? I mean, it's a lot of time that would be taken away. And Alexander wasn't sure what to shoot at, Boombot or Winsome. And that split decision-making is the cost of his life. So now Osiris up top, still trying to zone off some space. Guiding Light, Showstopper, but the spam from Temperature for 2 isn't going to be good enough. 3v2 situation. The defensive retake looking pretty strong. Claudia up close and personal. Has to deal with multiple angles. Could not find the kill. And now it just comes down to Potter. 1v2. Christine Chi, can you do it? Already halfway defused. Barrier Orb is still down. They can just stick this. You can just stick this. No problem. RNG get on 11.
Potter now just trying to find the last kill. Not going to be awarded over. CP2 too smart for that one. And that's what I like to see in terms of wall usages. I mean, this is why you save wall. This is why I'm against using wall too early. Save the wall for a more strategic situation like that. On the retake, brilliant usages coming through from RNG. Brilliant retake once more. Taking down the Empress from Alexander. The only sort of misstep there was allowing Temperature to get 2, especially Temperature shutting down the Showstopper. I don't think Winsome's really had a Showstopper really come through massively yet. There was the one early that we did see where he got a kill and killed himself as well. So even that one was a bit of a... Like, it's reasonable, but dying only means you use an ultimate to get a 1-for-1. Not the best. They still won the round. But overall, not great showstoppers from Winsome today. But RNG still going to have the firepower to get it done, especially when you look at how strong the last couple of players were. Strategically, the aim-wise, everything.
Broken by situation here for Evil Geniuses as well on the offense. They've got 3 rifles, one of which has only light armor, and then 2 sheriffs. Everybody else full armored up. So Evil Geniuses, they do have, of course, the kill potential of a Hunter's Fury if it can find value. The question is if it can find value, as Renegades are stacked right outside the A catwalk. Paranoia is down. Slow Orb will be there. 1-for-1 exchange. Ah, beautiful. Finds Osiris. Outputting Alexander for 1. Dismisses away, but Strong Legs is able to find a kill and stay alive. Allows an opportunity for Renegades members in the middle of the map to pinch behind the play. And it's just down to Potter for a 1v3.
Which is really not possible anymore. I mean, she could pick up a gun and would have to isolate 3 kills in a row. Number of ultimates still available for RNG. I think at this rate, we can already start talking about how good that slow was. Potter will just, at the Constellation price, tax away 1 kill into Retro. But what a huge slow from CP2, right? That completely denies EG from walking up into tree. I mean, you still have Sire's challenging that. He just slowly walks through the slow orb and just gets pumped. I mean, I don't really understand that one. I mean, sure, Alexander did get the trade eventually. The slow is enough, by the way, that allows RNG to get the rest of the members through market. Randy comes from behind and gets the kills, and ultimately Randy, Savage, and the rest of RNG, just no fear. They knew exactly where the rest of EG were, not allowing them to get too much more done. 3, I think 2 alive at the end of the day after Potter got that last kill. Bringing things up to 12 and 10. Match point secured and tournament life on the line now for EG.
And even still, Again, because of the broken buy from the last round, Evil Genius is not feeling super comfortable with their weapons, you would feel like, in this one. And they have to deal with the operator pressure, which is actually being held by CP2. Not often you see the Sage player with the sniper rifle in hand, but we'll give it a run. There he is, sitting mid-map, just watching the crossover towards A, as the barrier orb will keep them safe from any pushes through Catwalk. And this Owl drone, yeah, it will find some information. And blast packing away just to stay safe is Winsome, and we'll kind of reset everything with 60 seconds to play with a 5v5.
And so CP2 has full control on A as an anchor right now. Like you said, the wall just covering over towards short. No one's broken it yet, which means it's completely safe. We have seen CP2 snipe this entire map on the Sage so far, which is just going to be how RNG want to roll the day. I mean, they don't really have a lot of great positions to snipe on. The other person could have been Winsome on the Rays, but again, no jet to be played here. EG on about 40-ish kind of seconds remaining now. Lockdown's going to come into play. And a counter lockdown's going to come in as well. And the counter from EG. So EG, they're going to throw in two here. You want to raise me? Let me raise you back.
EG will find first blood, but Osiris almost caught out. Tail wins the safety. Second peek. Winsome's able to find the elimination, but Potter is already getting the spike planted. There are still members for Evil Genius moving to the middle of the map, but it's the first blood that comes in this engagement over towards B main. CP2 going to be able to get the resurrection into play. Seeker's also scouting out how many players are over towards the middle of the map. Alexander will deal with it, but here comes Renegades on their recovery attempt. Sneaking through this sky smoke. Spam shots are decent, really, from both sides. The slow orbs are keeping EG completely at bay. It's just down to Potter. 8 HP. Not able to find the first elimination, and now Renegades have numbers. Last player left alive. Alexander hoping for some spam shots. The Molly will keep him at bay. Winsome finds the kill, and Renegades, they move on 2-0 in the series with a 13-10 here on Ascent.
And I think that means Evil Geniuses have been eliminated from Challengers 3 contention. I'm pretty sure it's a single elim tournament,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that's going to be it. Renegades go on. EG, their run stops here. It's going to come down to Challengers 4, qualifying into potentially